I told him very simple, or her, or whatever they are. I don't know who they are because online. I simply said, that could be said about everyone else here. He told me, I said, dude, get over yourself. That's all. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of seeing this individual go into threads and belittle people and make people seem like their issues don't matter and like they're stupid and he's smart or she's smart and they have all the answers to everything. My friend, no one cares. You can sit up here with all the regret in the world like Oppenheimer. You're not important. Okay? In the grand scheme of things, you are a means to an end. I want to label what this means, what Maddie did. All what Maddie did, regardless of the glitch, regardless of all this stuff, the one thing that Maddie did allow to happen is to prove what I have been saying, what Prior Fire has been saying, what a lot of people in our community has been saying for quite some time, for I think since MLB Show 22, is that SDS is a horribly ran product. They're a horribly ran company. They're horribly ran in regards to human relations, people relations, customer relations. This is a bigger issue other than Stadium Creator. This is a bigger issue other than Diamond Dynasty. This is a bigger issue other than cards that are now being propped up for $700,000, 700,000 stubs, and all this stuff. This is an issue where you have to look beyond the battle and focus on the war. The war here in all of this, the big picture in all of this, is the simple fact that SDS does not respect customers. They don't. They don't respect your money. They don't respect your intelligence. They don't respect your wishes because they believe that what they're doing is right. I said this about EA a long time ago, what got EA in trouble. EA made the game that they wanted for themselves, not the game for you. SDS did the same thing here. SDS made the game the way they made it for themselves, not for you. How can I make a game where I can neglect a feature in a small set community, not tell them, not keep them posted, not listen to their requests, not communicate with them, a simple message on YouTube, a simple stream, a simple message on Facebook, Twitter, all this stuff. You guys have the means to communicate to people. The only reason why this has gone so bad this year is because you guys fail to communicate to your customers. I am not going to sit up here and fault anybody in this fan base anymore about what they say about SDS, about how they feel about SDS, about how they feel about the individuals at SDS, because every single person in that business has brought this upon themselves from top to bottom. More importantly, the three-piece suit business people. But ultimately, like the people who develop this thing, who just throw stuff up against the wall, who creates numerous amounts of pay-to-win systems that are going to come and are happening. If you don't see it today, you will see it tomorrow. Those things are problematic. So no, I'm not going to sit up here and see where people are coming from. And I know there are people who say, oh, well, I understand why SDS had to pass this thing. No, I understand why they had to pass this thing too, but I'm going to tell you something I don't understand. It's something those types of people will never touch in their topics. I don't understand how your negligence, your inability to create a qualified game, your inability to listen to the fans when the fans asked you and told you what they wanted in this, provided by the fact you chose to not listen to them. Time and time and time again. Good developers don't do those types of things. Good developers don't sit up here and release a game this busted, a feature this busted, a mode this busted. So, you can apologize for SDS if you want to. You can apologize for them and say that, oh, well, this was a glitch and this was an exploit, this was all this stuff. If they would have listened to people to begin with 4 years ago and actually cared about this mode and cared about fans of this mode, this would not be a problem. This is a reaction to their inaction. That's all what it is. And you'll find out, SDS, next year. Mark my words. You will find this out next year when you will not make your sales. No one in their right mind is going to stand by this and stick by this game. Nobody. I'm not buying this thing the first day. It's going to be MLB to bin bargain. That's what it's going to be. You're pointless to buy this. And the whole like, oh well, we forward it to the devs. They're considering it. They're listening to it. Are they considering it? How do they not know? I have to ask devs this one question. You guys have had this game prior to being released and going gold. How did you do when it came to releasing this game the way it was, to where this game for almost 2 months, you could not download a stadium or create one because it would turn into a generic ballpark like an MLB Show 22. It would freeze like the way it did at MLB Show 22 and all this type of stuff. Matty Butt Games sits up here and says, oh, well, Stadium Creator, you must understand, works like a puzzle. How the hell do you know what it moves like? You don't work for SDS, or do you? That was my beef with you, Manny. That's most people's beef with you. That ever since this thing got discovered, you've been moving sus. You have been. You show up in forums. You try to make yourself the martyr and the victim when you're really not. You sit up here, you act like you know why SDS does what they do and talk about the stuff that they do. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're a pawn in their game too. You're just a means to an end. The people who are going to sit up here and are going to hold SDS accountable, call them out on their stuff, call these devs out on their stuff, call these business people out on their stuff, within the right ramifications, by the way, are the ones who are going to receive their daily bread at the end of the day. Because ultimately, again, this is not about them patching this thing. Because once this has been patched, the problem has not been solved. The issue is, where is the leadership at SDS? How do you fix this problem? 3 months in, they haven't fixed the problem. We're almost going into July, guys. It's Juneteenth. Very soon it's going to be 4th of July. We already went past St. Patrick's Day, Easter Sunday, Mother's Day, birthdays, whatever. And they still haven't fixed this stuff. And I have ran the whole gambit. How they need to communicate, how they need to talk. And the only thing they do is time and time again, they send out their little henchmen. They send out their little people who talk about not disrespecting them, no slanders allowed, none of this stuff is this. You would not have any hostility put towards you if you guys would put back the ounce of respect that people once had for your games and for you. But you know what? You guys don't do it. So continue doing it the way you guys want to do it. Continue patching all this stuff and sitting back and not listening to people when they tell you what they want and the fans tell you what they desire, because all they wanted was a fully customizable game mode. I have said it. Studio 44 have said it. All the people who came before Phil 44 and all the people who no longer do this crap sat up here and said what they wanted. And you know what they did ultimately? You ran them off. You made them quit. People like Arch, who I personally taught how to build stadiums, he quit because it got too frustrating. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the people in our community, all we do is get used. People who build rosters, classic rosters, they like using our stuff. But then when we sit up here and we talk about what's wrong with our stuff, it goes through one ear and out the other on specific Discords. And they don't care. That's cool. You got a problem? Hey, I got that 1922 roster I like to play in your ballpark. Can you do that? Yeah, sure. Let me do it. Cool. No one cares. No one cares. I have no problem with you guys patching and fixing stuff. The problem isn't you guys patching and fixing stuff. The problem is you guys sitting down and understanding something, that there are dozens of people out here who are willing to use a glitch to create the ballparks that they wanted to create, regardless of how shitty they look, how bad they are, whatever they're going to crash with, whatever it's going to do. They're willing to do that than to play the mode you originally put in the game. They don't have a disdain for you. They don't hate you. They love this game. They want to build with this game. They want to create with this game. But you guys created this. The greed is starting to show. The game is starting to go differently, starting to go stale, because that's the direction. Very simply put, you guys don't respect anybody. You don't respect your own game. You don't respect people's requests. You don't respect quality. You don't respect any amount of innovation. You don't respect competition. You don't respect quality of your products. You obviously don't respect any reviewing or beta testing, because we're all beta testers. Come March 14th, we were. I know I was. You guys don't respect requests. You guys don't respect communication. You guys have no option but the option you're still on, which is to drive this game into the ground, where ultimately people will be fired and people are going to lose their jobs. Much like with EA, and there's going to be a new community director and a new designer and developer and all this type of stuff. They'll be coming and going, be a rotating door, time and time again, while you guys try to make your money off of stubs and try to turn stubs into mutt, while all the brainless, mindless sheep who follow that don't see the pattern and where these things are going. This is the direction in which all of this stuff is heading, and it is not good. And you would think that it would get better. You would think that these people would get better and catch on to it. They're not. They won't. They never will. That's scary. But it's also sad at the same time. It's all you guys have to do. Listen. But you guys don't want to communicate. So how do you expect things to change when the mentality that led to the problem is still working against the change? I don't know. But people like Maddie, But Games, people like the people who find the batter's eye glitches and stuff, don't sit up here and understand. The people who patch the games don't sit up here and understand why people are doing what they're doing, because they're desperate. They're desperate to build something qualified, because what you put in the game is not quality. That should be a sign for you to get. That should be a hint. That should be your answer for a prayer. But I guess the way things are going nowadays, it's just not. It's just not. So, SDS, I will say this, the ball's in your court. You guys have alienated a group of people this year, which unfortunately won't come back and will not have any interest whatsoever in your product. I hope you pay attention to it. I hope. But I don't think you guys will, because I don't think it's in people's nature to change. You have no reason to change. But I hope for your sake you guys do. I hope for your sales' sake you guys do. Because Madden is struggling right now too, making sales. And it's their fault why it is. And ultimately, when your sales strike and IGN's ridiculous 9 out of 10 reviews and all this stuff goes away, you guys will be stuck with a product that doesn't properly work. You're going to be stuck with a fan base that's going to become more and more tiresome of your antics. I implore you, start listening to your fans. They're the ones that are the deciding factor between you having a job or your games being returned back 3 days later at a GameStop somewhere. That's all.